GCSEs?
I'm 16 and I got 1 GCSE.
Got no GCSEs.
That makes me feel stupid.
Half of Britain's kids leave school with less than 5 good GCSEs. Rejected as failures, these are 20.
I definitely do hate school. It's the rules and regulations. I just hated it.
300,000 of them each year. And I was one of them. I left school with nothing. In a way, the system sort of let me down. I was lucky and found cookery, but most kids, like me, fail to find anything, and they deserve better. So I've taken over an empty building for 2 months and turned it into Dream School.
I want you to have the ideas about what we're going to do.
I've persuaded 18 of the most brilliant people in Britain.
Come in, everybody.
From top scientists, journalists and academics.
How tall is Henry VIII?
To Olympic gold medalists and a guru of soul music.
Oh, no.
I'm ripping up the rule book. They're going to teach whatever they want to, however they want to.
We have all the laptops shut.
Can these brilliant minds unlock the lost generation?
Everybody, please be quiet.
You're a prick, mate.
Fair enough.
I'm that close to not coming tomorrow.
No. Listen!
It's the great and the good versus the bored and the badly behaved.
I feel the education system is still stuck 40 years ago.
I don't really agree with that.
Oh, they'll all be doing PhDs by week 5.
That is nice.
You think you're higher than everybody else because you're a headmaster.
I'm really excited, really daunted. It's going to be a bloody lunatic asylum. But if we can engage the kids, that's all that matters. This week, the first teachers taking up the challenge are...
It's over 1,500
Dr.
years
David
old.
Starkey, a fantastic historian. He too comes from a tough background and made it all the way to the top as a professor.
It consisted...
I've got Simon Callow, one of Britain's leading actors. He starred in 4 Weddings and a Funeral and Shakespeare in Love. Robert Winston, the great scientist and pioneer of IVF. Then there's Expeditions with record-breaking yachtswoman Dame Ellen MacArthur. And teaching art, it had to be the one and only Rolf Harris. I can't believe I'm back at school. Got my own school. 2 months. This was an absolute bomb site, but it's been cleared up now. Dream School. Look at that sign, eh? No expenses spared. So I've got 20 kids from a whole load of different backgrounds to be my class, basically. And the one thing that they've all got in common is they've all flunked their GCSEs, big styly, like me. So basically, they're my challenge. You know, they resent education, they feel let down, they're fairly bitter about it, their experiences are not good. To get them back on side of thinking that education's remotely a good or positive thing is going to be tough. Dream School bus. Hello. How's it going? All these kids left school at 16, just like me. Good on you. They come from all sorts of council estates to leafy suburbs and even private schools.
I'm feeling definite starstruck.
Oh, don't be starstruck. My big challenge in the next 6 weeks is can we inspire the uninspired and get them to want to go back into full-time education?
Let's go. Straight up the stairs on the left. I'm Facebooking this right now.
Put your hands up if you had a crap time at school, you didn't get good results, and basically you... And by the way, you guys aren't the oddities. You're not the minority, right? 50% of students coming out of secondary school today do not get the 5 GCSEs, grade C or above, to allow you to go into A-levels or universities, OK? You are part of that, so am I. So you're not odd, you're not useless, you're actually quite normal. And what I want to do, and all of the other teachers, is prove that you're brilliant. OK, so one last thing I've got to do, guys. come on, look, got a lovely tie. OK, guys, once you got dressed and you get all yourself safely put to one side, we'll be waiting for you out in the cloisters or whatever you want to call it, the hallway, and then we can get cracking with the first class.
Right, Emily.
If we haven't done one of these in a good 3-4 years.
I think these are really cool, actually. I think they're nice and...
To help me run the school, I've got a real head teacher with years and years of experience. His name's John Dabro, a.k.a. Dabs.
God, it's like...
Oh, it's all right.
This is Angelique. She lives with her mum in Romford, and her story is typical.
Dear Angelique, please find enclosed the result slips for your recent examinations. Unfortunately, you are unsuccessful at this stage. It just says big fat fail.
Well, if you want those things, you have to try again.
I went to the exam.
It's like me planting, going out there and putting a pot of compost and not putting no seeds in there, and then 6 months later or 6 weeks later going to look for see what come up.
Connor is from an old East End family, and he's been doing odd jobs labouring since leaving school.
I went in school just thinking, like, they're making us come here every day, wasting 5 hours of my life. Like, obviously, I've gone in thinking that every day, so I've gone in thinking I don't want to learn, I don't want to do this, I don't want to be here. So I've just gone in and I just mucked around in school.
Henry's dad is an architect, and he left school with nothing.
What makes me tick? Graffiti, alcohol and crow.
We've got 4 boys. They all more or less had the same upbringing, but there's only one Henry.
My dream school teachers, they do have the freedom to teach what they want, how they want, to inspire the young people. But the question is can some of Britain's best inspirational experts, can they actually inspire my dream school students to want to go back into education to change their lives?
Hey, is it pairs?
I'm going to try subjects that kids don't normally do at GCSE, things like photography and politics, to see if we can turn them on to learning. I want to see if there's new ways of teaching the old ones.
No, that way.
First, my English teacher, Simon Callow, is going to try and turn them all onto Shakespeare. His first plan is to see who these kids admire today and then show them that there's people just like them in Shakespeare's plays.
Lovely faces. Very good. Sorry to keep you waiting. It's the first day, isn't it? It's rather strange. I do need to know what you know, or rather what you think about Shakespeare. Well, the man from Stratford, where he was born.
Oh my God, I live like an hour away from Stratford.
No. Where do you live?
I live in Romford.
Oh, right, OK. So you must have heard a lot about Shakespeare, one way or another, right?
She lives like an hour away from me. Oh, my days.
But have you been there? OK, hold on, let's try and have a conversation.
We got the wrong end of the stick. It's the wrong one.
The wrong
I live
Stratford?
in Stratford, like, the ghetto. And he's from, like, Stratford, like, oh, hello. That kind of Stratford.
No, he's like from Stratford like this.
Stratford, like, I live a while away from. It's like, wild, go on, bad. Pow, pow. That's what it's like.
Right. Well, just focus a bit, please. I want you, each of you, to just find a character that you relate to.
What, in real life or in Shakespeare?
In real life, and then we'll take it back into Shakespeare.
Are we judging on the actual person or like the assets they got? Because I was going to say someone like Bill Gates because he's just an absolute billionaire. He just got money.
But anybody that you would like to be like.
For now, I'm just peeking in to see what they're like.
Yeah?
I would love to be Katie Price.
All right.
Because she's got money, fame, she's successful.
OK, guys, shush.
We just shut up for 5 minutes, please.
Yeah, just,
We shut up.
Hey, don't be telling me to shut up.
Chill out.
OK, guys. We just need to be able to listen to each other, that's all.
We're so used to people being interested in what we talk about. Like, people go, oh, really? Yeah, right. They don't give a shit. You know, they're kind of quite like... They probably don't even know he's probably one of the world's best actors, which I believe he is one of. You know,
Guys.
He'll say, OK, so I'm going to give you a few lines, 10 lines, and we'll do a speech, right? And then all the lines of people, they're going, yeah, did you see what he said? Yeah, he just said he's going to give us 10 lines and talk about a speech. Yeah, we've got to do a speech. Do you hear that? We've got 10 lines and we're going to do a speech. It's like Chinese whispers like I've never seen before. These kids just don't know how to listen. It's brilliant because it could break me. And obviously, judging by their exam results, it's broken others. I mean, was I like that? I think I might have been. Little shit I was. I wasn't naughty. But listening, my dad always said, just think before you do things. Just listen. Just listen.
Is there anybody who would feel up to reading out loud? No. OK, go on, let's hear it. All right, let's have a go. OK, quiet, please. OK, please, listen.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Can't he speak English? Wow. Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's leaves hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot, the eye of heaven shines, and this gives life to thee.
That's very good. Fantastic. Well done. Great start. Really, really good. Really, really fantastic. OK, so my job now is to find a character or whatever that attaches, what you've described embodies. I'll find you a speech. I would like you, please, to learn it.
Oh, and remember it.
And remember it, yes. That's what it means. Thank you very much. See you on Wednesday. It was nice meeting you too. Bye-bye. Yeah, bye-bye.
So,
that was a baptism of fire, but they're great. They're just unruly. You know, basically they're unruly. They're what's called,
feral?
Well, they're certainly not disciplined, is not a word that comes to mind, in their thinking or in their behaviour. But it's quite interesting because I was asking them to choose someone they want to be. It was very interesting, that preponderance of answers about money, success, power. I didn't think it would be like that. Maybe I'm just completely out of kilter with all of this, but there was just this money. If we can just get money. The little really surgical.
Thank you. All the best.
How can I lie down?
God, that man's proper posh, isn't he? And in his head, he must be thinking, God, where are these kids from? Like, I swear to God, he must have been thinking that, because I can't read Shakespeare. It don't make no sense to me. But he must probably thinking, God. But I think he thinks we're mint. Like, he weren't stuck up or nothing. Obviously, he can't help the way he talks.
Two minutes, guys, 2 minutes.
Over the next 6 weeks, I'm going to see if these brilliant teachers can find new ways to enthuse these kids.
Yeah, what do you do when it really kicks off?
It's by an American painter.
I've got quite an amazing man for history. He's certainly opinionated, and he scares me he's so clever.
They're all enthusiastic. It's just their own gobs are their worst enemy. So
they talk too much.
Yeah, some of them have been in, and some.
Now he's heard the noise, he wants to know what kids he'll be getting.
Some of that is almost just. I think they're just acting the way they always did in class, which is generally talking too much and not listening enough, and that, along with possibly not being engaged, they certainly have like a lower self-esteem and regard for, you know, sort of their time in school.
I'm interested in the low self-esteem business on the one hand, and then on the other hand, perpetually talking. And I suppose, in a way, I wonder whether that means they don't have too high an opinion of themselves.
Mr. Postman. Mr. Postman.
How's it going for you?
It's going all right, yeah. It's not, to be fair, it's not what I expected. I thought it was going to be a lot more like school, but it's completely different already. It's better, a lot better. At least one of the things they asked me about, like, what was one of your problems at school, and it was the teachers that just stood there and shouted down at you and just talked to you like you were literally a complete different level to them, like you were just like something on the bottom of their shoe. And that's one of the things one of the big things that made me not do nothing at school. So, like, I just absolutely wasted my chances, absolutely. And that's why this is such a big thing. Because I feel like I did literally just absolutely waste my time.
All right, well, let's see what happens.
Yeah, definitely.
But, you know...
Nice one.
Yeah, you crack on with history, mate.
Yeah, get back
You'll
to
be all
history.
right.
Starkey's got a fantastic course. He wants to take the kids on a tour right through our history to show how it made Britain today.
That's right, that's a shield mount.
But you won't be able to pick this one up.
That doesn't matter.
He's starting 14 centuries ago with the origins of bling. And he's got some Anglo-Saxon gold worth millions, which he reckons will really thrill them.
Gentlemen, can we come forward, please? I prefer you sit there. Sorry, when I make a request, it's much easier if you do it and you respond. We're in a situation where you're supposed to be learning, I'm supposed to be teaching, and it's much easier if we actually do it together, because you've got here some of the most extraordinary things that have ever been found in England. You may have seen it. This is the hoard of Anglo-Saxon jewellery that was found in Staffordshire, here right in the middle of England, just outside Lichfield, just off the A5, a couple of years ago by a... Thank you.
Now, Starkey believes in good old-fashioned teaching, and he wants to give them some home truths.
Quiet, everybody. You were all here, I'm told, because you failed. That's to say, yeah. You didn't get the magic 5 GCSEs, OK?
I didn't feel like I got kicked out before I said.
All right, I think...
OK? And the reason, one of the reasons that it seems to me you failed is you were too busy talking and not listening enough. And I think it's wasting your time and it's wasting mine. So let's actually begin. What seems to me to be important is that you remember why you're here and why schooling exists and why human beings go to school. You've got a mind. You've got a brain. It's the most important thing about you. People worry about their faces, they go to gyms, they work out their pecs. Many animals are stronger, most are faster. Yeah, my dog... Oh, come on, you're so fat, you can really move.
I guarantee you.
Yes, now, right.
I can move faster than you, old man.
This is
look at your glasses, man.
This is personal abuse.
Commenting on personal shit. I can start commenting on you in a minute, mate, so don't start that, all right? Don't start that at all.
Poor lad has got a problem. There are... with Jamie's food, there'll be lots of darting opportunities. Now, OK, hang on. At the moment, what you're doing is you are using your brains simply to amuse yourselves and each other.
What do you think you're doing? You're using your mouth to amuse everyone. Do you think it's funny making a joke on me? You're about 4 foot tall, mate. Have you always been that tall? I'm not being rude, I'm just asking. Have you always been that tall?
From the age of about 13.
OK.
Yeah, girls. Where are you off to? How's your history class going?
I prefer the other lessons.
What's the matter with this one?
I don't know, I learned most of these in school, but I don't understand the quiz.
How's the class going for you?
The other one's a bit better, more practical. I prefer the other ones.
I don't really like it.
Why? Tell me why. It's interesting.
It's interesting. It is interesting, but if it was practical, I think.
It will be a bit better.
Yeah.
And he's a bit rude. Come on, he called our friend fat. That is a bit out of order. Our friend turned around and said to him, "Do you think it's funny, like being make fun of me to make other people laugh at your amusement?" And then he said to him, "You're like 2'2" or something like that." He cussed him, but he said he was fat. He said it, didn't he? He did. Oh, Carl, that's why he's sitting there so angry.
Did he really say that? Come on.
I sent him a letter in the class. And I turned around and said to him, "Don't even get annoyed, because there's no point. Don't even worry about it."
Okay, so why are you not engaged in the class then? That's his problem. You've got about £30 million worth of gear in there.
I know, but it's not like we can have it and take it home.
No, but you could see it. You could possibly even touch some of it.
Yeah, where is it? It's sword.
I don't even know if you went up the front and had a look.
Yeah, we're allowed to get up and look.
Have you sent a text message since you've been in the class?
I haven't.
No, I'm just saying, have you sent a text message since you've been in the class? Be up.
I've been my phone because I've been bored.
Now, I don't know much about history, like most of the kids, so I'm sitting at the back.
Shit. Have you ever seen anything that is 1,500, almost 1,500 years old before?
Yeah, my mum.
Your mother, yes. I know everybody over the age of 20 is an antique, but these are real. Right.
That's
now,
what I had my hand up for about 20 minutes.
Hang on.
And you didn't say nothing. Everyone who shouts out, you answer him, but I had my hand up for literally like 20 minutes. Okay. I was going to ask you a question, you didn't even bother. When everyone else shouts out and asks a question, you answer. How does that work in a classroom situation?
Well, I'm sorry, I was looking
cool,
at this.
Man. Just
Terribly sorry. Right,
head.
let's in that case, I'm sorry, I will keep an eye open for you. It's getting a bit like an auction.
Sorry to bother you, Dr. Starkey. 5 minutes, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Come on, man, 5 more minutes.
You're acting like you should be in preschool.
Hey, go look at the front and
Oh, you shut up as well, man. You talk all day. What the fuck does this man owe you? What does this man owe you? What does this man owe you? He owes you shit all. You're the one that did shit in your life. So shut up. Shut up. You talk, man, too much. Just shut up.
Can we all quiet? Can we just be quiet? And if we're quiet, we'll finish sooner, and then we can all go and do what we'd really like to be doing, OK? And what we'll do next week is to try to look at that revolution in values, how it changes, why it changes, and why, even though you don't know it, you have these ideas inside you. Thank you.
Where's Ben?
Sorry for him because he's given up his time and we're like violating him. I am sorry.
Right.
These are all different bits of...
I survived. Attention deficit disorder is not a disease, it's a description of an entire age group. Every single thing they do something else whilst they're doing it. And some people hail this as a wonderful example of human ingenuity and whatever. I think it simply shows that we've lost the ability to pay it. Well, clearly a whole generation is losing the ability. Now, I'm sorry, that just makes you fodder. And this, of course, is a tragedy. That they're destroying themselves and they're destroying what they could be as human beings. But, human beings, the phrase cutting your nose off to spite your face, it's one of the most frequent human actions, and you just watch them doing it.
I'm not justifying. It all seems to be falling apart before it's even begun. The angry kids have called me and my head Dabs to their common room.
Guys, if you're all talking across each other, the guy who can sort anything that might be able to do something about it can't even hear it.
Yeah,
so,
sorry. It's funny, I was talking to you before the lesson started, about I didn't like teachers that talk down to you like you're lesser than them. And within 2 minutes of me being in that classroom, I wasn't disrupting anything. I didn't say anything to him. I didn't even introduce myself. He made a comment about my weight. And I didn't like that at all.
Didn't you make a comment about his height?
No, that was after. At the very beginning. Wait.
So, let me tell you what I feel, right? You're all entitled to your opinion, and I respect every single one of you. But your last lesson, which you don't seem too up about in the slightest, you feel disrespected, you were on your phone, you were clearly some of you bored at the back, some of you engaging at the front, right? But he's probably one of the best in the world. But he was he was firefighting. Now, you had your hand up for
I don't like the thing about teachers automatically expect you to respect them without them respecting you back. Like, if they call him fat, he's not going to respect him and be good in his class.
And that's just funny.
Like, you don't talk down to him.
Can I just say something? Draw this to a close, please.
Let me just come back to you.
Can I just draw it to a close, please?
Go on.
All it was, right, he was out of order what he said to him at the end of the day.
Yes.
But at the end of the day is he's probably just like us. He's sharp mouth just like us too. Say something to him, I'll say something back to you just as quick. So that's it, just call it quits. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, listen, guys. Listen, can I just say, you've got to give this a chance. Don't judge this on day one, right? The point, just think about this for a minute, and I think that's really hard when you're texting, because you can't be... No, you're a lovely girl, but you just need to know it's bloody rude, right? And I'm just telling you, I'm easy, so you don't have to worry about me. I'm just telling you, it's really disrespectful.
Sorry guys, we need to wrap up because you guys have got a bus waiting to take you home.
on your mobile?
Yeah, I've had my phone off all day.
Okay, how'd it go?
I had an argument with the history teacher.
What do you mean you had an argument?
Because, like, I must have, like, it was him, it was his fault. I must have,
Oh, it was his fault?
Yeah, he didn't even know my name.
All right.
And he tried taking the piss out of me, like...
Don't swear.
I wasn't too happy. He was talking about something and he was talking about evolution. And I went like that, say muscle man. So he said to me, he was like, mate, you're so fat, I'm surprised you can move. I swear, that's what he said. I swear to God, man, I felt like picking the table up and throwing it at him.
You didn't?
No, of course I didn't. I can't do that, can I? I get kicked off the thing straight away. My first instinct was just to pick it up and throw it at him.
And what did he... What happened?
Nothing. I just, like, 5 minutes later, I made a comment about his height, which is about 4 foot tall, and then that was it.
So he was rude, so you was rude back?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't need to be, really,
No.
did you?
So I'm going to go back to him on next week and say to him, look, I wasn't happy with that comment. I don't think that was right.
Yeah.
And just see what he says and then see if we can sort it out like that.
Hi, Henry. Hiya.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? Pee bag which needs to be washed.
Oh, really?
I got to take my overnight stuff tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going sailing with Ellen MacArthur
Ellen MacArthur.
to Isle
She's
of
one
Wight.
of my heroes.
I know.
Do you know that?
I know. No, to be honest, I don't even want to really go that much.
Why not?
I want to do something this weekend.
Oh, go sailing.
Well, Henry, it's not often you have an opportunity to go sailing with Ellen MacArthur.
Yeah, I know.
So what are you doing now?
Going out for a cigarette.
Going out for a fag. I know, we've just been racking our brains, you know, and you can't help it. You feel you failed as a parent because your child isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing. And you can see all their other friends kind of achieving stuff and you think, God, you know, he could do that.
Yes, we'd be very frustrated, angry.
Yeah. We've been to, I don't know how many youth courts have we been to?
Yes,
Quite a lot.
It's the phone call from Her Majesty's Constabulary at 12 o'clock. Which has happened on a number of occasions.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite a challenge turning these kids around.
Hello. Hi, darling.
I didn't used to like assemblies when I was at school, but now I really need them.
I think the only problem we've got is just a general respect problem between yourselves and some of the teachers, and between yourselves and yourselves.
I'm really worried that some of these kids are already wasting this opportunity of Dream School. Maybe it would help if they reminded each other why they're here.
I just think when you know what someone's been through, when you know the problems, the high bits, the low bits that you've had, that's a really good opportunity for all of you and us to sort of just get to know you a bit more and respect you.
Can I pick on someone? Henry, you go first. Up you come, please.
Look, all I would say, you're clearly bright and intelligent, but sometimes some of you are your own worst enemy. When he's talking, please, no talking. Why are you at Dream School?
I'm at Dream School to get a better education, because I didn't get one in mainstream school. The people that I hung out with, we all went off and started doing things instead of actually going to school itself, like smoking weed and stuff and doing the graffiti and that. Yeah, and I just bunked school and then ended up getting kicked out of school as well, and just since year 8 kind of been out of school since then. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do yet. Maybe have a career in art or stuff, but I'm still not 100% if that's exactly what I want to do. I'm not sure if I want to do that or maybe even become a fireman. So I did some fireman course and that was like proper sick. And
I tell you what, let's have Angelique next.
Nearly every bad thing that's happened to me has had something to do with school or education or the people or the teachers and something like that. I went to a PRU, like it's like a bad school, innit? Like people, yeah, it's like a centre. They told me there was something wrong with me. They told my mum she should take me to the doctor, there's something wrong with me. And obviously my mum's like, there's nothing wrong with her, she's just excited. Like when I get stuff right, and when people are like, oh, well done, like, I've never had it before. I've always just had get out my face or shut up or stop talking or face the wall. Like, how can I be 16 and still facing the wall? Like, it was awful. And I've never had it before. It's completely brand new.
Well done.
Thank you.
OK. I feel quite upset that you all feel consistently let down by education. But what I do think is that you've got an opportunity now to help yourself. And I think between yourself as friends and peers and respect, you know, that's why I wanted you to say a few words. I think I'd love you to convey that to your teachers.
The more traditional subjects like history have got off to a bad start. But I think maybe if we can tap into their creativity, that'll be the secret. I'm hoping that Rolf Harris may be able to unlock their creativity with an amazing art course that he's designed. He's going to get them all to paint, even though lots of them think they can't.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you a little bit about Impressionist painting. Have you heard of a fella called Monet? No. Monet. He tried to paint an impression of what he saw rather than draw every intricate detail of every bit of outline and fill it in with colour. What he tried to do was paint an impression of the whole thing. The first thing you do is you kill the white. Kill the white because it scares the living daylights out of your white. You don't know what to do on white, so you just kill it. Get rid of the white. I'm going to put a bit of terps in. Harlem, you're not phoning anybody, are you? Otherwise I'll burst into tears. I'll be very good in future.
Yeah, bring a candle over.
You think that's good?
Sorry.
Well, it's a skull with a cigarette in his mouth, and I just got the rag and just done it.
Go about there.
I'm wondering what will get through to Nana Kwame, one of 6 brothers, who lives on his own in a council flat.
It was a really soft...
I do not like painting. I'm not very artistic, and I don't like drawing, painting, colouring, or anything like that.
Yeah. Wait a second.
At the end of Rolf's lesson, he's a bit gutted too.
I felt that a lot of the time, maybe if there were half the number of children there, I could have given my attention to more people, you know, and you think, oh, damn, why wasn't I able to get, I mean, these two here, you know, Henry and Jake, they just gave up, you know.
Dream School's not only about normal lessons, I'm willing to try anything to light their fire. With the school exploding with noise, I've split off 4 of the kids and I'm sending them sailing with Ellen MacArthur, the great British yachtswoman. Henry and Nana Kwame will go along with Georgia and Aisha.
Nice to meet you. Ellen, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I first sailed when I was a kid and I totally fell in love with it, but I never thought it could be a career. I grew up in Derbyshire. And then it wasn't until I was 17 when I realised that I was going to try and sail around the world. And from that moment on, everything changed in my life. I didn't go to university, I finished my A-levels just. And it was kind of like a redirection, and I'd found something that I really, really, really wanted to do. You two go up forward and get the ties off. We're all going to pull together, OK?
All right.
Ready? OK, go. Just watch us. Brilliant, that's great. And that's how you harness the wind. I think we're going to have to do another boil. Not everyone's life is how they would necessarily want it to be, or they've had challenges, or maybe, you know, they've come through school without qualifications, but, you know, that's made them who they are. And that's okay. They can move on and they can do things from now. You know, they can be successful. They can choose to do what they want to do. And it's almost saying that to them, you know, you guys are at the beginning. You know, you have your whole lives in front of you. You can make anything happen. Attacking! We need to turn it around for you one time, so.
If you watch the sail at the front, when it starts to flap, take that rope off.
Beautiful.
Here we go. That was a good tack. Well done. That was such a good tack, you don't need to winch it in.
I know this is a dream, but getting out together can really broaden your horizons.
Right. Do you want a little bit more?
Yeah, please.
Yours went in the middle.
You don't sound like Oliver Twist. Can I have a bit more, please?
And what's the most exciting thing that you've done?
This. This?
So far, this is week one.
No, Dream School is the most exciting thing that has happened.
Is it what you thought? You know, when you decided to do it, was
Better than what I thought, to be honest.
It's an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's so much better than what I thought.
Way better than what I thought it would be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So Kwame, why do you think you're here?
Well, I'm here to try to better myself, getting the experience and try and change the things I never did. In year 4, year 5, I got kicked out of primary school. Got sent to a pupils referral unit. Then after I went to the same school as my older brother. Come out of my brothers, basically ran nearly enough every gang around my school, so everyone in my school was like, oh shit, we can't really mess about with him because we're fucked, innit? So they didn't really want to get too close to me because if you piss one off and like I caught someone, it would have been over for everyone.
Henry, why you?
Because the school and my parents and everyone else who, like, was rooting for me did literally everything they could to try and make me stay in school. Like, they gave me the part-time timetable and everything. And, like, they let me drop the lessons that I weren't liking and stuff. But still, I was just stupid and stubborn. And, like, whatever I wanted to do, I did. Yeah, they, like, literally, the school did everything they could. It was just solidly me that just threw it all back in their faces.
Yeah.
The only person I blame for it is myself. Hello.
Hi Henry, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. We were just chatting about it, and like we all realised like what we had to do to change and shit.
And shit.
And the fact that when I was younger I was a bit of a prick to you lot made me realise like how much of the shit that I put you through. And like
Well, it's nice that you recognise.
And I'm sorry for putting you through it, and that.
Wow.
And yeah, and that you lot were backing me 100%, and I just threw it back in your faces. But, like I said, and like I'm using this dream school opportunity to change that and turn that around.
Well, we certainly appreciate that you thought along those lines, but also think you are really putting a lot into this, and we'll see.
There may have been a breakthrough on the high seas, but there's still a big old cloud hanging over Dream School. My head, John's worried about what really happened in history. So he's looking at the footage of Starkey's lesson.
No, you didn't get the magic 5 GCSE. Okay? Right? The magic 5. Now, what seems to me to be important is that you remember why you're here and why schooling exists and why human beings go to school. Come on, you're so fat, you should really move.
Shit, I'll start commenting on you in a minute, mate.
What I picked up here is that I think it's an inappropriate comment, and I can't ignore it. Back at school, that for me would be a potential disciplinary matter. So it's difficult.
Science is one of the toughest subjects, and the number of state school kids choosing it at GCSE level has halved in the last 30 years. Professor Robert Winston thinks that this is a tragedy and believes that all of them could get into science. To prove it, he's going to try a very hands-on course where kids get to touch and feel and do experiments themselves.
We won't be teaching a lot of theory here. My prime objective is for me to learn, I think, because I think unless you're learning yourself, you cease to be really useful. So that's the first thing. Secondly, I think to have some fun with the kids. And thirdly, hopefully, to make them feel that biology is worth thinking about. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to get you to do some quite interesting things, some of which you may find really rather surprising. I'm qualified as a surgeon. And at the end of this lesson, you will be doing, effectively, human surgery. That's the objective. Right. Craig is going to bring out your first patient.
He's trying a different tack, just smiling his way through the noise. Sadly, because of health and safety and a lack of cash, most schools don't do dissection anymore.
You've heard of the test tube baby technique, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I heard of it, don't know how to do it.
No, well, we're going to do it in the laboratory.
What? I'm not an IVF technician. Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Despite the racket, Angelique is interested enough to ask the relevant question.
Just, like, moved it apart. Oh, wait, do rats get their period?
No, they don't have periods. Well,
No, I'm not trying to be funny, I'm just asking.
It's not funny. You're quite right. Rats. The only. We can't proceed if we all talk at once. It's probably best not to do that. The only animals that have periods are humans, some higher monkeys like the gorilla, the chimpanzee,
They all have periods.
and orangutans. They have periods.
If this is a dead person, I swear I'm leaving.
Take the cover off.
Winston moves from rat to pig surgery. But it's a step too far for some.
You can't believe it. You can't. You got that. I can't believe it.
I can't. No, it's that nasty.
Right, well, can you go back in then?
Go back in there, I can see it.
It's just about a lack of respect.
No, I'm
Hang on.
completely listening, but I'm walking down.
It's a complete lack of respect for the man, isn't it?
History ended up in a near riot, and science has ended up with vomiting. What have I got myself into? History has reached the Middle Ages. A joust master has arrived to help with David Starkey's next lesson.
Your favourite musician?
But I'm wondering who's going to impale who.
Your favourite politician, if you've got one.
You've got to get the lance through the rings and then hit the quintain.
But just getting it in there.
Yeah, but you're aiming for that ring there.
In the middle.
Right through the ring, yeah.
Bring it down and down.
But sadly, David Starkey's decided to stay at home.
Just to there, that's it.
You cannot have a school without clear central direction. There has to be the controlling voice, there has to be the ethos, there has to be and then there has to be the rules which are known, which are subscribed to, and which are enforced. And finally, I'm afraid there has to be sanction.
Go on, yes, the spirit.
I will not teach again until those things are sorted, because I don't think there's any point. And I think, these children, on the whole, as far as their teachers are concerned, will have maybe had a little bit too much of the milk of human kindness. They've always been handled with kid gloves. And when you look at them, I'm sorry, you wonder just how beneficial that has been.
As big a surprise to me as it is to you, I think.
In the art studio, Rolf's trying to channel Henry's graffiti from vandalism to art.
What inspires you, Henry, when you're doing graffiti?
To not get caught? No, I don't know.
Now, finally, Henry gets a chance to show what he can do.
Just pissing me off because I know myself I can do so much better, and it's just annoying, you know? No, man. If I do something shit, people just think I'm shit, and it's just, I don't want people to think that.
Sorting these kids out isn't easy, and I've got the teachers to worry about too. Before Dr. Starkey decides whether he'll come back or not, he wants to have a meeting with me and John to discuss discipline.
I actually think, in Starkey's sort of defence, it was the first time he was teaching this kind of bunch of people. I think he was probably a bit nervous, but ultimately teachers are the adults and they shouldn't be throwing verbal abuse at the young people. End of story. hope he sticks with it, but we'll see.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, but Jenny...
Oh, my God. You just have to be able to sort this out amongst yourselves. This is just ordinary relating to each other.
How are you?
I've got a problem. To listen to David Starkey's demands for discipline, or to John, who thinks that the person who should be disciplined is Starkey himself.
And I sat in Starkey's class the other day, and the content was incredible, the teaching was amazing, but he'd upset the class.
You and I have got a problem, because it embodied everything that I think is wrong about education and childcare practice in relation to teaching children, where a member of staff was rude to a child. And I mean really rude. I'm not talking about being baited and reacting inappropriately. I'm talking about, you know, made a put-down comment that was totally inappropriate.
See, when I spoke to Starkey about that, he said he called me short, I called him fat.
Who threw the first insult?
I have no idea, I wasn't there.
Teacher.
Well, it's completely inappropriate.
Because we've got a situation where someone potentially could be dismissed.
Look, Starkey's always been in universities. They'll be on every single word of his. But
And that's the sad thing, that, you know, he got that bit wrong. If he just modified his approaches slightly, he'd have the kids eating out of his hand.
yeah, but we've got to help him do that, I think.
Well, he has to help himself.
I think he will. And if he doesn't, then...
We might be having another conversation. And I don't mean that as a threat,
yeah.
but you know... Because...
Well, if he doesn't, he might have to go. If today's anything to go by, we might only have 5 students in a week's time. These teachers, they're busy, successful people. I can't make them turn up either. So, in 2 weeks' time, I might not have any students, I might not have any bloody teachers.
Oh, boy, that was hard,
Next week, Alistair Campbell tries to wake up their political passions.
Right, Georgie.
And Dr. Starkey comes in for our showdown.
The reason that I am where I am is that I fight. I don't turn the other cheek.
It seems that controlling my teachers is as tough as the kids.
Chariot? OK, shut up!
To find out more about what we're doing here, there's videos and stuff on channel4.com/dreamschool. And if you want the whole classes, you can go to youtube.com/dreamschool.
Jamie's Dream School is back next Wednesday from 9. Tomorrow from 9, families compete to win a home in the Yorkshire Dales. Whoever impresses the locals the most is the winner. Love thy neighbour. Tomorrow from 10, breaking news, Sunny Side Up for 10 o'clock live. And next tonight, all that goes on behind closed doors, the Model Agency.